All right, y'all. D-Lo here. I'm gonna talk with y'all about this Tyson Fury situation. So, if you go by stories you see on ESPN or posts by people like Mike Cobbins and Michael Benson, you know, um, Kevin Iole, those type people. Of course, you're gonna see this spin put on it about, it's unfortunate Tyson Fury tested positive for COVID. His camp tested positive for COVID. Now the fight's off. But man, I look at it like this. When you have a fighter that every time he has a big fight lined up that's dangerous, you have to be concerned whether or not he's going to go through with the fight. And then something happens on his side that derails the fight. And he already has a history of all kind of weird antics, pulling out of fights, retiring out of the blue, failing drug tests, weird stuff going on with his gloves, pig farmers testifying on his behalf that he ate, wild boar nuts, just all kind of stuff like that. I feel like if people don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt, then that's just fair. That's just, that's par for the course when you've conducted yourself in such a manner. So for me, for anybody who cares what I think about it, I feel like Tyson Fury never wanted to fight, clearly. When you have a contractual obligation for a trilogy or a rematch, and the other fighter has to take you through arbitration to get you to commit to the fight, you clearly don't want that fight. It had nothing to do with the Joshua fight. It had nothing to do with him wanting to go to Saudi and make all this money, because he was trying to fight Kabayal back in December. They had announced the fight and everything, and then all of a sudden that went away and it was never talked about again. So, Tyson Fury, in my opinion, didn't have any designs on fighting Deontay Wilder for a third time. He really didn't want to fight him for a second time. The very first time that we heard about Tyson Fury fighting Deontay Wilder potentially was when Tyson Fury got in that ring after Wilder had KO'd Artur Szpilka, and he got in there talking all this talk about he's the real champ and so forth and so on, and he wanted Wilder. He's gonna beat you like I beat Klitschko, you bum, and all that nonsense. And then Tyson Fury disappeared. Disappeared from the public eye, disappeared from the sport of boxing for, 2 years or so. Next time we saw Tyson Fury, he was laying in his bed, probably close to 500 pounds, making videos, trolling other boxers. And then finally he surfaced in the ring and started getting himself into shape, and him and Deontay Wilder had a bout. Then when they were supposed to have the rematch, Tyson Fury ran off, went and fought Schwartz, and then went and almost lost to Otto Wallin. And then they finally got around to having a rematch. Tyson Fury won with all of the, funny stuff that went on, or all of the scandal surrounding the fight. When it came time for the trilogy, Tyson Fury tried to run off again. He ran off from Vladimir Klitschko on the rematch. So this is a pattern of behavior for the guy. So I'm not going to cry a river for Tyson Fury. I'm not going to give him benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to feel like he was unfortunate. I feel like it's all nonsense. I don't believe he failed a COVID test, not when they were talking about he and his whole team were already vaccinated. Then it was, he's partially vaccinated and all. It's like, man, come on, man. Enough is enough. I don't know what the ramifications are or what the legal stipulations are in terms of how much time he has to make this fight or be off the hook, or if he has some consequences for him, eventually just walking away from the fight. I have no idea. But I hope that there's something put in place to where if Tyson Fury doesn't fight Deontay Wilder next, no matter when it is, he can't fight anyone else. without compensating Deontay Wilder so much money that it makes him feel like his best interest is in facing Deontay Wilder and not doing anything else, or either just walking away from the sport of boxing. I don't want to see him walk away. I want to see him face Wilder, regardless of what the outcome of the fight is. Yes, I favor Wilder, but I want to see the fight. Now, if this stuff drags on and on and on, and there's some more nonsense that pops up, at some point, even us fans got to just say, you know, enough is enough. We're not going to get this trilogy. Tyson Fury's happy taking that win in the second fight, and he doesn't want to put it on the line, the opportunity for Deontay Wilder to get a victory against him. You know, we've seen what Wilder's capable of doing to Tyson Fury in that 12th round of the first fight. So I can understand, and we've heard Tyson Fury talk about not fighting Deontay Wilder again. We heard his dad come on talking about how he don't feel like Tyson's ready for the fight, how dangerous it is. We hear Tyson Fury talk about how none of these other heavyweights could beat Deontay Wilder. He knocks them all out and all of this stuff. So there's a lot of reasons to believe that even Tyson Fury himself, regardless of potential compensation he could get from this fight, just doesn't have the interest in fighting Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury was interviewed with Bob Davies not very long. I think his name Bob Davies, might be Bob. Gareth Davies, that's his name. Interviewed with Gareth Davies the other day, and he was talking about depression and thoughts of suicide and all this stuff that came over him after the last fight with Wilder. And talked about, you know, how he came off of this high and then he hit this low. And, you know, so it's like, I just don't know. The guy's all over the place. You know, there's rumors he getting beat up in sparring. The pictures I seen of him looks like he's getting some good work in sparring. You know, so I just can't give the man the benefit of the doubt. I feel like Tyson Fury took whatever opportunity was afforded to him to get out of this fight and save face and get himself in a better shape, hoping that when the fight comes back around, he's in better shape and he can get the win, or at least give a better showing than what he felt like he may have been given going into this fight. You know, and the crazy thing about it is, if there was all this talk about him fighting Joshua over in the Middle East, Fury was expecting to have a fight regardless. So why wasn't he already trying to get in shape? Did he really just think AJ was that kind of easy work that he was going to be able to come in there out of shape and beat Anthony Joshua? You know, so I just, like I said, enough with this guy. I can't talk about it no more. That's all I got to say on the subject. D-Lo 404 Boxer. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.
That's it. One, shake. That's it. One, shake. That's it. That's it. Again. That's it. That's it. We'll do it again. That's it. That's it. That's it. Wait, on that side of the chair. Other side. Other side. That's it. Wait, on that side. Other side. Other side. That's it. Now we on that side. One. Push it. That's it. Fine. There you go. Good. There you go.